Hello, namaste, sasrikal, good evening. Welcome to the S.S.Chandhok talk show. We are here once again with very eminent guests from Pan India. And we have very special guest today. First of all, we have a very special guest, NL Edenson, sir. We see that people move from India to the foreign countries to provide education to the students over there. But we have the reciprocal right now. Sir is in India. Right now he's in Denmark, but he is in India and providing his expertise here in India, in Bangalore. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for coming, sir. Sir, please, everybody will like to know about your journey as an educationist. I think I saw your profile that you were in Denmark and you came to India. How this happened that you came into the education industry and then from Denmark to India, sir? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a great privilege to be with you, even though I'm in Denmark right now. I'm in daily contact with my school, but we have summer holidays now, so therefore it's the right time to be away from India. I've been a high school principal for many years in Denmark, in academic high schools and vocational schools also. And my last school in Denmark was a modern school called Ørestad Gymnasium, Ørestad High School, with a very beautiful and innovative building. And a promoter in India from the company Bhatia fell in love with the architecture of that building. And he wanted to create a school in India inspired from the same ideas. And a headhunting company in Mumbai came up with my name. And he was so excited to see my name as one of the one that was picked. And I was not looking for a job. I was a happy Danish principal. But I had some contacts in India, so I was not afraid. So in the third or fourth talk to the headhunting company, I talked directly to Mr. Agarwal, the chairman of Bhatia. And we, I felt that his ideas of what kind of school he wanted to make was very much aligned to my ideas. So I basically came to India because I could see he was passionate about education. He didn't want to make just another school business, but actually to do something new in education for India. So I could do what I've had been doing for 45 years in Denmark in a new context in India. So it's an exciting last step in my career as an educationist.
That's great, sir. In which year you came in India, sir?
I came 4 years ago, but before that, I had worked with a project for half a year where I was in Delhi every month. So I've been working with the project for 4.5 years now.
So almost you have come to know about the culture of India and the places, like the people also.
Like, yeah, but I learn new things every day.
Of course, sir. India has so many religions and cultures. There's nowhere in the world what you'll find over here in India. And the people, they welcome also with the people who have come from the other places also. That's the greatness about India. Thank you so much, sir, and coming to the show and sparing your time, even you are joining from the Denmark. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Pooja Malhotra, ma'am. She's the principal of Goenka Public School, Jhansi. Thank you. Welcome, ma'am. Pooja Malhotra, ma'am. We have two Poojas today, so we'll talk about Pooja Malhotra, ma'am, first. Welcome, ma'am, and please let us know about yourself also. You came into this profession by chance or by choice. How did you started up your career as a teacher and to a principal right now?
So, myself, I am Pooja Malhotra, and basically my hometown was from Indore, and I have got married at Sagar, MP, and from last 25 years, I am in the field of education. And I'm not here by chance, but by choice. I have chosen this field of education because none other than education is the platform or the field which is best. So it was my dream to be a principal. Recently only I am appointed as a principal. From last 25 years, I have started my teaching career 25 years back. So from pre-primary classes I have started, and then gradually, first of all PPRT, then PRT, then TGT and PGT. and now I am working as a principal. So this way I
Right.
started, and I am working now. Thank you, sir.
Right, ma'am. Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Next, we have Pooja Bose, ma'am. She's the principal of Pacific World School, Greater Noida West. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome once again into the show, ma'am. Pooja Bose, ma'am. Again, we like to know about your career, ma'am. You have come into this profession by chance or by choice. How, which school you started, and how did you came up to become the principal of Pacific World School now, right now?
Good evening, everyone. I started my teaching career in the year 1994. I'm a pass out from Delhi University. I did my B.Ed from Delhi University and have done my master's in education and literature. Um, yes, obviously, I've stayed put till 2022 in the field of education. I think I came here by choice and I'm loving each day that I'm spending in this area. And yes, I've worked in various schools. I've traveled a lot. Travel is one of the, one of the biggest reasons why, I have understood what it is to be a student in Indian landscape, because there's so much of variety. A school up north is not the same as a school down south, and even for that matter, in different terrains of the country, education is substantially different from what it is seen in the metros. So schools all across the country are very different from each other. So obviously the process of learning also differs. And this is quite fascinating for me as an educator. I've been principal in various schools. I've worked in Delhi public schools, and now prior to this, I was in the Tata school, in the high range school, which is in Munnar, Kerala, which was again a remarkable experience of my life. Now I have come to Greater Noida, and I am working as a principal of Pacific World School. Other than that, traveling, learning about education, and trying to understand how best we can teach and how best students can learn and in a given set of environment is what I love to learn. Thank you.
That's amazing, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we had been seeing last you were in Manar, and you have changed the school. So I'm seeing in this season also many principals, and they have changed their positions. Like last we went, that ma'am also left and came to Ghaziabad for that school. What we talk about that? You remember the last session? Ma'am also has changed. So the frequently people have changed. We were not knowing about that, and we just came to know during the session only that the principals, they have changed their institutes. It's good when you're getting more better opportunities and good opportunities. You should move for that, for sure. Thank you so much, ma'am, and welcome, ma'am. Then we have Pawan Sood, sir. He is the principal of Guru Har Gobind Singh Public School, Ludhiana. Welcome, Pawan, sir. I had been seeing you, following you in the media, social media a long time, and I had been seeing that I would be calling you, and I got your number, and I requested you to come over here. Sir, please, everybody will like to know that how did you came into this profession, by chance or by choice, and from which school you started up your career as a teacher, and of course from a teacher how you became a principal. Sir, you're on mute, sir. Pawan, sir, you're on mute. No, sir, not audible. You're on mute right now.
It's not doing.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm on. Right.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Chandhok. We just met, I think, in LinkedIn only, and I really love to associate with the people like in this educational field. And I feel about myself, I belong to a small place, a very beautiful place in Himachal, Chamba district. And from there, last 10 years, I'm in Punjab, working as a principal in different schools. And I feel that especially I have a little more intention that to work in semi-rural areas like in the Punjab. Is basically I'm right now working in a Guru Har Gobind public school, and this institution is basically a Sikh institution, and it's a history of more than 100 years old, and this is a elite organization where the three colleges and two schools are there. And I think I'm very happy to be a part of the Sikh institution and being from other religion. I have really known as I mean, it's not about the even I'm talking to right now, but I feel that it's really about the religion. Also, I'm saying that I'm so happy that even my kids they follow more Sikhism than our religion, because I feel Sikhism is such a religion; it just adopts everyone. Because once we talk about ourselves, we see that we are in India, we are a different cultures, and of course, I do feel that. It's a very rich culture, and every day we are having a knowledge of Guruji's what they have did. So I feel that in India, we love to have a different kind of cultures together. And as an educationist, I just try to be in touch with the students. And I feel last by 22 years, out of this, I think I started my career from BPS Dhalozi as a teacher. And after that, I really feel that teaching related to your something you can do for the society. Yes, of course, the teachers, of course, the principals have you gone through a corona period, and it was very difficult. I have seen some of my colleagues, they are getting jobless, and then the teachers are getting not getting proper salaries and all. I mean, it was really a very bad period for us. But now we are coming up out of this for I think last 6 months. But again, some people again afraid that it might be another wave can come. Then again, because the educational field as such, the whole fraternity have really suffered a lot. I think so. So it's a very positive impact, like education, like you have started this show, and we come up with so many things, and once we share something, we learn so many things. So I believe that moreover, we feel that it's a very good profession. Teaching is a way in which every day when I go in my school, I meet small kids, and every like doctor profession is difficult. Every day they have to deal with the people who are sick, and we are very lucky that we are in touch with the people like this young kids. They are like God. So we are happy to be in this profession, and we feel that if our contribution is there, something even little contribution can change the child, then definitely will. I remember it. Some of my students, I think, if we have contributed to change their lives, so they definitely give you a lot of respect. Even my Facebook page, hundreds of requests are coming up, and we cannot accommodate in that way. But because that love and we have done something, we feel more than satisfied that we are in a profession where we are in directly with touch with the young birds, and definitely we can do a lot for them. And I feel very satisfied at the end of the day that we are in this very noble cause.
You're absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely right, sir. Whenever I move to my school, first of all, I go to the pre-primaries. When you see the beautiful faces, smiling faces, crying faces, and making noise faces of small kids, they say that we do not grow above 18. And do you agree with me, sir, that we don't go above 18 because we are in the age group of between 3 to 18? We never grow above 18. We will never be 60 or 70 or 80. We'll always be below 18. Because we are always surrounded with the kids between the age group of 3 to 18. So we won't grow up. And that is the biggest strength we get from them. We learn from them every day, sir. And we are unrecognized corona warriors. Everything stopped, but education did not stop. Only the good thing was that the technology came into being fast in India 10 years before it had to come. So that was also a really good thing. And technology has brought up very good things, very proper things, which we know a blended teaching will be there in all the level of the schools all over India. That is for sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And welcome, sir. Next, we have Jaswinder Singh, sir. He is the founder and CEO of Wordsworth Lab. He is the ex-founder director of DesignMate, which is now our Reliance Group company. He is the MD and CEO of Wordsworth English Language System. He has an experience of more than 32 years in education field and successfully run 2 edtech companies. He has worked as a consultant to the government of Bahrain through UNESCO, advised the government on the use of ICT in education. He's a passionate edtech leader. Wordsworth is being used over by 1 million learners annually through more than 3,000 schools and colleges. He has launched the world's first Sanskrit language lab and also developed language lab in Hindi. He's based out in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. That was a formal introduction, but basically when I met sir in one of the show, as I introduced earlier also in the shows, that he told me about his lab. I was just wondering what's the use of a language lab. So when I went into the depth of why language lab is necessary, so it came into my mind, yes, this is the route where the children meet. We work upon the subjects. We do not subject about the work on the language learning. Language may be any language. That like sir is working with the Sanskrit also, Hindi also, French also. He's doing up with English also, and coming up with many languages, Indian and foreign languages. Basically, the thing is, when you are wherever you are in France, if you're talking about French, so there the child knows how to speak, how to read, how to write. How it can be developed more, the children are not able to produce more as they should. So language learning is very important, which we'll be discussing in this show also. But on my request, sir came into for few of the episodes that sir, please guide us that how language learning is so important and how technology has made it more good. Samir sir is also there. Sir, sir, please, over to you. Then we'll come up to Samir sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Chandok sir, and I'm happy to be here. Good evening, all the principals. I'm the only odd person who's not a principal. I dream one day I will be, part of the education fraternity, being a part in the administrative. However, I'm not from the language field, and I actually started off as an IT trainer. I used to teach people. I set up my company to train people on IT skills. And that is the time that even UNESCO picked me up and they said, we need you to go down to Bangladesh. And then they moved me to Singapore and to Bahrain to work on these projects to, work on ICT policies. At that time, we were given a project by the current Prime Minister, who was the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, Modi ji, and he asked us to train 50,000 government employees on IT skills. Slowly, after 3 years of that, he said, now I will give you 100,000 people, go and train them on language skills. And that was the first time I thought, okay, how do we do that? Okay. By that time, I was already into content creation as a part of a company, which is DesignMate. So we started working on that. And he said, I'll give you 1 year and you have to train 100,000 people every year and improve their language skills. We were very happy. You get to train 100,000 people, and then you don't even have to go look for them. But there was one caveat. He came and said, for every center that you put up in the urban areas, you have to put 2 centers in the rural area. And that is where we were put into trouble. We were not able to find not only good, even language trainers in urban areas. And that's where we thought, what should be done? You can't import teachers. Now, for a language program, nobody would shift from a tier 1 city to a tier 2 city or a tier 3 city. And that's when we realized that we need to work on some technological tool, because we were in technology, that will help a normal person deliver better, a normal, not so good language trainer to deliver better. And that's how the entire concept of coming and creating content was there. But we went on to do the project. We trained more than 180,000 people there. But lately, we realized after that, after completing project, that language learning is not something yet when you do at a time when you have completed your schooling. You can't expect somebody who's grown up to acquire language so easily. It is actually something that should be introduced right during the schooling. I would say the early years. It is said that by the age of 8, a learner can acquire up to 5 languages. That is the age we need to do. And that's how our journey of, starting and creating content for schools in that was in. And we set up a first lab in a tier 3 city, which is near Baroda in Gujarat, where we had a local Gujarati medium school, and those kids used to go and appear for international level elocutions and talking about something about quality circle of India. And that's where we realized if we work on these kids, maybe it'll work. And it really worked after 6 months. And that gave us the confidence that this can work. And now the journey is that we put in more than 50,000 man hours of research and development in creating that product, which is currently used by a million students. So it's been a long journey. I'm happy doing that. But every day there's something new coming in. Technology changes and the learners change, and the kind of hunger this new generation has. If you can provide them what they need at the right time, in the right palatable format, and in a way that they love, I think nothing is impossible. So yes, an exciting journey.
That's great, sir. And we had been seeing, because in India, when you talk about schools, there are 3 categories schools. We say A, B, and C categories. We're talking about all the schools. So it is seen that from grade 1 to 8, if there is no English teacher, that the principal says, okay, any other teacher can become an English teacher. It's not like that. So that base, where the base, the pronunciation and many other things are there, which, when the teacher is not knowing how it will be moved up to the students. And this happens everywhere. There's a scarcity of English teacher everywhere. So let me tell you, Sundar sir, that everywhere the schools are able to pay good handsome salary, but they are not getting good PGTs, TGTs, and English teacher for basics. So that is why tools like what's what you have, these are very helpful to the students. Thank you so
If I
much, sir.
can just barge in here, if we stop looking at only an MA in English, you'll get a lot of better teachers. MA doesn't make you a good teacher. Okay, you can't be an MA in literature and deliver better. You need young, bubbly people who love to speak, love to communicate. And if you need to have passion, you can't get anybody who's done a certain degree to be able to deliver better. That's what I personally feel. We're doing projects with governments. And currently, we're doing a project with Delhi government where we are hiring around close to 150 teachers. We are not looking at people who are postgraduates in English. We're looking at young people who are vibrant, energetic, and language is very contagious. So that's what should be there. So if schools allow that, I think you'll have a lot of good teachers who can deliver. I'm sorry I barged in.
You are absolutely right, sir, because we have also seen sometimes the PhD holders, they have doctorate, but they are not able to write a single application in English properly.
Yeah.
So that is the sorrow and thought of that they have done PhD, but they are not knowing English. For sure, the new generation, it is more fast and active. And we need to, sir, mug up with the old teachers and the current teachers also with the apps like Wordsworth. We'll talk about that, sir, in the later part of the section. And we have Samir sir here. Samir sir, are you there, sir? Asif sir? Asif sir was a little late and he said he'll be joining. He had a urgent management meeting. He said he'll join us. Okay, by the time sir will come, Samir sir, are you there? Okay, by the time he comes back again within a minute or two, we'll come up to the next part of the program. We'll come up to the next part, which I won't call it as question round. It's a session round. Alan sir, we'll come up to you, sir. Sir, we'd like to know your views on the saying that language learning is the basic necessity for people to communicate with each other and build relationship. What are your views on this statement, sir?
Yeah, in modern education, we talk a lot about the 21st century competences: critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. But on the basis of that, we still need good language skills. So, and even in a world with audiovisual media, with digital media and so on, language skills are even more important than ever. Language is the media for understanding, for acquiring knowledge, for reflecting, for sharing and communication, and in many ways for creation. So we need to find new ways of doing it, because it has become a little more difficult than earlier, because there are so many media out there, and children often think that writing and reading is not as important as it used to be. But it's still a fact that the more you read, the better language skills do you get. The more you write, the better language skills do you get. So reading and writing is more important than ever. Of course, in modern education, it needs to be combined with digital media, with audio and video and so on. But if you don't get the basic language skills, a differentiated language, knowledge about all the cultural codes that you need to be good in order to communicate in many different areas. If you don't have that, it will become impossible for you to get to the level of the 21st century competences I mentioned in the beginning. So yes, it sounds old-fashioned, but reading and writing is the foundation of everything else we do in schools. But of course, we need to change our pedagogical approach a little from a more formal approach to a more functional approach, where we train our students to uh, to improve their language in many different genres, in many different communication situations, and they need to read a lot of different texts. So the approach must be changed, but reading and writing is at the foundation of everything we do in schools still.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You're absolutely right. The reading and writing is the most important because, listening also is very important. We start up with the listening because when the child is in the womb, his or her mother's womb, as well as when he takes birth, the listening is the most important thing. That is why wherever you are in India or you are in India, even you are with different religions, you speak that language only when you get birth and when you start talking also. But that is the listening part, I think, sir. Jaswinder sir, I'm right. I'm quite
Yeah.
learning from you, sir, from so many episodes about this, sir. The first thing I've learned, I'm a very slow learner. But Jaswinder sir, I've learned is that, of course, the fact is that the listening part is more important. That is why in so many countries, so for the few years, the children only listen. Am I right, sir?
Yeah.
I'm becoming a good student of Jaswinder sir right now. See, you learn, sir, when you are up with people, you learn from if, and there is no harm in learning at any age, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, Arun, sir. We'll come up to Pooja ma'am, Pooja Malhotra ma'am. We'll also like to know your comments on the saying that language learning is the basic necessity for people to communicate with each other and build relationship.
I agree uh, with the statements of sir, and yes, of course, the language is quite important because without language, we are not able to implement, or we are not able to display, or we are not able to express our feeling or thoughts. See, actually, language is what it is none other, but language is a system of communication that relies on verbal or non-verbal tools to transfer the information. And on the if I talk about the communication, the communication is the exchanging of messages. So they are correlated. So language learning and knowing about language is quite important because the base of each and every subject, I can say at school level, I can say that as until and unless whenever the child, as the sir was telling, that when the child is in the womb of the mother, yes, of course, as the child is there whenever the child is born. Afterwards, the first thing or the first language which the child learns is the mother tongue because the environment which is there, which they are the child is adopting, or which we have also adopted as a child. So the primary language was our mother tongue. Then secondly, as the children or the kids are sent to the school, so suppose it depends as per the choice of parents. So sometimes they choose the English medium or Hindi medium. Previously, some years back, there was not a craze of English medium and Hindi medium, and not there was not a craze among the people or in the heart of the people for sending their child to the English medium school. But now gradually, we can say that uh, the competency among themselves or the awareness, we can say, not only the competitions but the awareness. So as they send to their child to the school for learning, suppose any child has got admission in the English medium school, and as an English teacher, what we are trying to inculcate in our students, the proper knowledge or the correct knowledge must be there. Only going to English medium school is not sufficient. Their child has been sent, and anyhow the child has completed the schooling till the class 12. But as now, as per the CBSE norms, the critical thinking and all the competency based education and the experiential learning, artificial intelligence, many of the things are there. But for learning each and every phase, but as we are anticipating each and everything about the as we want to inculcate that a child must know that what is critical thinking. First of all, we need to explain them that this is a critical thinking and this how they are able to understand it. But language, what is language? For language, the basic year of the student. Whenever the child is in class, the basic years, as the child got admission in PC or the play center, then nursery, then LKG, then UKG. So those are the basic years, and those are the days when the child must at least class 5 the child must know how to read. How to read, how, first of all, the listening is there, reading is there, then writing, understanding, and then writing. As the parameters of language are LSRW. And slowly, as the time is changing and the syllabus and all the things are changing, so we are exploring more and more about the language. And it is very much important. Communication is also very much important until and unless we are communicating. And because of communication gap, I can say many of the issues are there in the society.
You're
Yeah, we can
absolutely
talk
right,
about.
ma'am. I think you want to say that without language learning, there'll be no communication. It may be any language. If you're talking about English, also, you are talking about
Yes,
any regional language even. So the
yes. No,
communication cannot be
vocational
proper. You
subjects are
cannot
also
come.
there.
Yeah, you cannot do it if there is no proper language learning, and that is a root cause why we see that in the class of 30 or 40 there are 3 or 4 toppers, and the rest are average or below average. This is just
Yes,
because they don't have the base of language learning, and that is very
yes, of
important.
course, sir.
And for that we have gathered here, and Jaswinder sir will help for that also. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to
Okay.
Pooja Bose, ma'am. Pooja Bose, ma'am. We'd like to know your views on the saying that language learning is not confined to the school education or the starting level only. It is an active process that begins at birth and continues throughout the life.
So it's common knowledge that language learning does not begin during the school life. We all know that the child begins to babble at a very early age, and a lot of language acquisition begins even before a child is born, as they say. We have in our scriptures the story in which a child, Abhimanyu, heard a story which was narrated by his father to the mother, and he kind of imbibed a lot of the things which were, told in the story. So I am not saying that there is a scientific backing to this story, but it is common knowledge that we say that child can even listen to sounds even before he's born or she's born. And obviously when the child is born and he is or she is in a setting, in a family setting wherein a particular kind of language is being spoken, the acquisition of that language is very natural. And a lot of it, as they say, comes from listening. Listening to the sounds, listening to the words helps in forming their sense of that language. And slowly and steadily, the vocabulary or the word bank increases and improves. And the child, as we say that there is a critical period of language acquisition in a child's life. So we need to understand what that critical period is, and we need to make use of that time period to the best of our ability. And also, I kind of believe that in that period, if the child is listening to 2 languages or even more, it is perfectly fine. It is perfectly natural, and there will not be any problem. As they say, the mother tongue interference happens. But it is also seen through research that multiple language children who are born in families with parents speaking 2 languages grow up to be natural speakers of those language. So therefore we should be fine with teaching our children the native language as well as English language during that time period. Thank you.
You're absolutely right, ma'am. You have a practical experience and that you have shared with us. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Asif Samir, sir. Welcome, sir. I know you got late because of urgent management meeting, sir. Asif, sir, is the principal of Ideal English School from Kerala, Malapuram. Welcome, sir. Sir, please, we didn't know about you. Please tell it about yourself first, sir. About your journey as an educationist, sir. Please.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me a chance on this wonderful platform. My name is Samir Asif, and basically I'm from Delhi, born and brought up there. And prior to join this education sector, I was in multinationals in the management post. Then I have joined some of the institutes for the competitive world. such as Akash Institute, and then I moved to the uh, school level. So currently, I'm the principal of Ideal English School, which has a capacity of more than 3,000 students and 150 faculties. And this is how I switched from training to teaching to administration. This is a good journey till now. I'm enjoying everything. Thank you so much.
That's great, sir. And your children are also super children. That you told me in the last session also. They are proactive. They are so proactive. I mean, they can. Please tell us about them, sir. Sir, please.
Yes, sir. I'm blessed with two kids. So the elder daughter is a youngest corporate trainer in India by India Book of Record, and she's a soft skill trainer, YouTuber, podcaster, blogger. She's a child prodigy when it comes to linguistic ability. And my son is a maths genius. He is a programmer of Python and Java, and he's a national player of chess. And in his grade fourth, he is able to teach up to grade eighth or ninth even, entire mathematics.
And
So
in
this
which
is
class is
how
your daughter, is, sir? Your daughter is in which class?
daughter is just past seventh class and son fourth grade.
Oh, that's great, sir. You have a beautiful family, sir. All the learned people there, and of course, your wife might be teaching you even. We
This
all
is
are
a
doing the
possibility.
same things.
Yeah.
All the teachers are over there, sir, including wife also and kids also, sir. That's great, sir. Sir, please, the first question will come up to you again then. Please let us know your views on the saying that language learning is an active process that begins from birth and continues throughout the life.
Yes, sir. Language learning is a natural process. Actually, there are one term is also neuro-linguistic programming. I am a certified NLP practitioner also. So what I feel that language matters a lot, be it a non-verbal language or the verbal language. And from the beginning, once we start thinking, feeling, responding, language matters a lot. I'm not talking about English language. Language which comes from the family, what we call a mother tongue. So it is very much required, and this is evident that if we are learning multiple language, it means we are connecting with the synaptic junctions, we are improving our neurons, we are more into the intelligence part. So according to me, it is necessary. A person should not be forced for the other languages. Once we have to groom her or his mother tongue, and then after we have to have a transition from the mother tongue to any language. Because any language apart from the mother tongue is a foreign language, be it English, be it any other language, be the regional language. But gradually, a person can be polyglot, means master in multiple languages. Okay, so this is one thing. Second thing, language should not be considered only the words, grammar, or something. Language is so much comprehensive approach. So according to me, we should always conscious about learning languages. Even the computer languages are the languages. So we should know about these languages because these are the future language for the Homo sapiens. So this is my perspective. I'm particular about the language, but not about the grammar or vocabulary or some components. Language as a whole to ability to express our thoughts, views, it should be done, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for telling your views on the topic. We'll come up to Pawan, sir.
Yes,
Pawan,
yes.
sir, we want to know your views on the saying that language learning with a combination of technology makes learning more easy and perfect.
I do, of course, I feel there's a technology has a role to play in learning a language. Gone are the days, I think we can talk about if 20, 30 years ago. I mean, it's hardly like today we are communicating with each other. It's a technology, that's why we are connected. We cannot never think like 20, 30 years ago because how people can sit together and communicate in the, and moreover, this presently because of pandemic also, this all started more. So I think technology has a very important role to play. And at the same time, like a person can have, there are different kind of apps are there in the market now. Even a person want to learn a foreign language, also there are a very famous Duolingo app, and then this type of apps are being developed. And as such, Jaswinder sir is knowing that now the role of basically, I think the knowledge of language can be done only when the listening skills are being improved. I think in that English labs, as Sarah has told, in every school, even we have also set up an English lab, because students, they learn by listening more. Fine, reading, writing is a basic thing, that is, I do agree. But unless or until the child is not knowing the very sounds, how the person and how the pronunciation comes. So these things are only learned through with the help of technology. I think it definitely developed a lot. And then even if you go for a just a podcast, there are various ways right now. YouTube, you can go and watch your videos. The particular language videos are available. So this has really developed. Now it's a five, like as Sarah has told, not only English. There are 5 language formula should be there. I think the schools also like we would like to start French also, because now, as in Punjab, we are here, most of the students are going outside. This, everybody knows this trend. And I think what they do, they go for IELTS center. And I said, there's no need to go IELTS center if your basic English skills are good. I think you don't need to spend money out there. And because a person, a student passing out from our school, most of them, this is the IELTS score do matter, because what happens, most of the students get a very basic score of IELTS and they go outside in Canada. And after what happens within 2 years, this is my personally I'm telling you, because this area in Ludhiana is mostly every one student is going outside. So what they do, they pass the IELTS score, 6th grade, 5.6 or 6. Then after that, this for 2-3 years they are not able to communicate properly, because they have marginally cleared that IELTS pen, but their basic communication skills are not developed. So 2 or 3 years in Canada, for them it's very difficult for a foreign country to settle down. So then after 5 years, they are able to come at least what their basic skills are there. So here we are also in our school also, like we feel that the child from the very beginning, we want to give him 5 for say go for learn at least 5 languages, not only English, go for French, German, and some other language can be introduced, because when the child is small, he or she learns very easily. But once we grow old, for me to learn, we cannot be maybe a Rabindranath Tagore or Mahatma Gandhi to learn 15 languages. Yes, it is difficult for us. But for a small kid, it's not a difficult. With the very beginning, if the technology, with the help of technology, I think the child can easily learn 3 to 5 languages. And I think this concept in coming next education policy also, they have also I think they want to that some new languages should be taught from the very beginning, because the child is very at that age very easy to learn and grab the attention of the as a teacher. And one more point, Jaswinder sir also told that we don't go for a language teacher like we go for MA English. Definitely there is a shortage, but as what he suggested, I already felt that a young child, a young person, even a graduate, and if he has a good skill to learn, to make him to people learn about the new language, they can imbibe the skills and can teach the students. So we that type of gap where we go for a MA English only, or because even you can say the Shakespeare himself was not a MA English, but now the conditions are not a MA English cannot be done without learning less Shakespeare. So this is true that a person cannot be, degrees are nothing. Basically, it's just you have to develop some skills with the help of technology, and technology is definitely there now. We cannot say that even if a person has an internet connection and a laptop and a mobile, and he can learn at home also. There's no way that we cannot learn a new language, and technology definitely plays a very important role now in learning new skills, new language skills, I think.
Absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right, sir. And so let me tell you that in Punjab, there's a tradition that almost in every house, one of the members is in abroad. Especially they are in Canada. Canada, you will find a city over there where you'll find all the Sardis over there, all the Siddhas and Punjabi over there. They are, it will look like Punjab only over there. So this is a very big, there's a culture that, in every house, one member is almost there. In every house. That's a big thing in the whole city, especially talking about Ludhiana also. So Ludhiana, even in small villages also, that they are over there. But the root thing, Pawan sir, you said that was they're getting 5 or 5.5 or 6 bands, and they're going over there because they're only taking up the basics. Again, when they are going there, they are listening that for 5 years. Then only they are able to understand the language. So here also we can find it out that listening is the most important thing. Am I right, Swinder sir, as a good student? So listening is the most important thing, which is always needed. And you are saying very right that they should be in the schools from the very starting, from the very root classes. so that the children should know about this. They should not go for all these institutes, science institute, where they're paying heavy amount for that. And that age, that is not a learning age. Actually, the learning
Right.
age is in the school zone. Thank you so much, sir. Pawan sir.
Thanks.
We'll come up to Jaswinder sir. Jaswinder sir, you have heard all the speakers, and as an expert, please let us know first your views about what everybody said, and just let us know that how the English labs like Wordsworth, they are helpful to the teachers as well as the students.
Yeah, thank you. I would start with where Pooja Bose ma'am talked about, Abhimanyu, that within, even when he was in the womb of his mother and what his father used to talk, he used to listen and get it. Ma'am, the whole point is it is not that easy able to listen. The vibrations could reach to him, and language is nothing but vibrations. You see, sound is nothing but vibration, and what we speak is vibrations, set of vibrations. So whether the ears were developed or not, or whether that was there or not, but vibrations affect everybody in the world. Okay, let's look at the word om. What is om? Nothing but the correct amount and the correct way or the correct vibration that a person gets it, which is what gets into this. So that is a proved fact that when you speak, there's a lot of vibration and they actually get onto that. So I would say yes, learning starts right in the womb of the mother, and acquiring language skills doesn't stop till the time you leave this world. So there's something that it's a continuous process. Okay, getting on to the other point, yes, language has to be listening, speaking, reading, writing. Yes, you have to listen to a lot, but how do you do that? You can't just listen. You need to be in an environment where there's communication happening, where you're listening and you're responding. What you listen, you should be able to comprehend. And what you comprehend, you should be able to respond. And what you respond, you should be able to record in the form of writing, right? So you listen, speak, write, all these things are important. Okay, but there's a stage for everything. So what I say is language, in any language, all languages, what you need to go is simply dive into that. I have started this thing personally when I meet somebody who speaks a different language. Pooja ma'am, I did try that with you also. Whenever I meet somebody, and if I know a little bit of that language, I will not lose a chance to use that language, because that's the way you can connect. So going beyond this topic, language is something that has made us from Homo sapiens to humans. And if language wouldn't have been there, we would have eaten away each other. Look at the cavemen. When we are able to communicate, we are able to, what is communication? Letting the other person know something. When you communicate, you pass ideas, you exchange ideas, and that is how harmony can be created. So if we, a lot of people say, why should I speak somebody else's language? I would say you better speak others' language, because that is how you will understand. I've gone a little bit beyond what you were saying, but importance and significance of language is so very important. One of the speakers did say 5 languages, Pawan Suji. Excellent. NEP is talking about 3 language formula. Why are they talking about it? Okay, let's understand purely. During the early foundation years, the child should be able to understand things which are being taught, and that they understand best in the mother tongue or the local language, because that's what they're surrounded with. Okay. Second is that we are talking about English, which is a foreign language. It is not a foreign language for Indians. Right? What is the difference between a foreign language and a second language? For Indian, that's a second language. You see, I may not be speaking in English, I may not be communicating in English, but people around me are speaking, and I'm able to listen. Whether I understand or not doesn't matter. So that is the second formula. But if you go to Japan and they don't even listen to people speak in English, that's a foreign language. For in our country, what they said, okay, let's have the second language as a second language, and of course the culture language to know our roots. India is one of the oldest of civilizations, and there's a lot of learning which has now become knowledge. And those knowledge are, that knowledge is in the scriptures. We should be able to read them. We should be able to explore them. We should be able to go deeper into that. And that is why they're taking about 3 language formula. But there's a medical reason also. If a person speaks 3 or more languages, the brain works better, the neurons connect better, the cognitive skills improve, and it is very, very important that each Humans speak 3 or more languages. We are fortunate to be in a country where you got so many languages. Give me 1 hour when you're able to listen to only one language of your life. When you're awake, you tend to listen to more than one language. And that is what makes your brain works better. Imagine one sentence and we put in 3 languages and still make meaning out of it. That's important. So what I say is that language, any language, all languages are important. Coming on to technology, yes, what the technology is, I will always say, without, you can't say that I'll acquire technology only with I'll acquire a language only with technology. No, you need somebody, because language, we're talking about the skill part, to be able to communicate with you. Do it. Yes, AI will do that, but it's a little far off. So what I'm saying is that technology can help a teacher deliver better. A technology can make one teacher work as 40 teachers in a class, because you need to communicate. Imagine if I were to be a teacher and if I have 30 students in my class and I've got a 30-minute session, I am actually spending 1 minute with each child if I have to interact, which is not enough. But if I use technology, I become 30 teachers and we communicate with 30 students, so each child gets chance to communicate with whosoever for 30 minutes, 30 times more communication, and that's how you develop. So language tools, they are not rocket science. They are just replicating what a teacher can do. They're just supporting a child to learn at any given time. They're supporting a child to acquire language skills the way he or she wants and at a time that he or she wants. Because if you want to acquire something, if you get passionate about it, if you be comfortable with it, if you start loving it, you will automatically acquire it. So technology is the tool which will help students acquire language at their time, in their privacy, and at a pace that they want. So that is why I would say the blend of technology, and that's exactly what we do in our work. Why have we been able to work with 1 million students within a short span of around 15 years? Is because we are just creating a tool which will allow the teacher to deliver better, allow the teacher to replicate himself or herself, and allow the child to learn at a time, at a pace, and within the privacy. Because language has a lot of ego. Actually, language is never here, it is there in the heart. So if you're able to do that using technology, you will be able to get onto that. And if you know one language, you can go to other and other. That's how we say technology uses. And that's exactly what we try to do. Make the teachers work a little more easy. And one very important thing where technology is working. See, all the principals except Alan sir, the whole point is, our teachers and their teachers were very good in English. Slowly over the years, the language skills of teachers have actually got diluted. Why? Our teachers and their teachers were taught by Anglo-Indians, speckless, proper English. But over the years, it has diluted. So what does technology do? Technology brings those kind of skills which are recorded or done with people who are very good at that. And then slowly using technology, it is put down. And that's how technology would help. So overall, if I have to put it in a nutshell, technology definitely helps if used properly, but don't expect it to be by itself a delivery or something that can teach others. That's how I would, conclude.
That's great, sir. And you're absolutely right that teacher should be over there. The role of the teacher will not be removed, but the technology will be a tool which will help the teachers to deliver the perfect things and the right things to the students. That is more important. As you said, we also have started in missionary schools when we were young, and we had Anglo-Indians teachers who were not knowing Hindi even, and they taught us. But that type of teachers are not available now. We have in missionary schools also. We have Kerala converted teachers and all. So that perfection, that extent, the way of speaking the words is very different. And when they are speaking wrong, how will the child learn? The child will also learn the wrong thing. But that is more important. That right thing should reach at right place. Thank you so much, sir. You are doing a wonderful job for the education fraternity, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We'll come up to the next round again, and I'll come up to Alan, sir. Sir, we'll also again now like to know your views again that on the saying that appropriate language learning strategies result in improved proficiency and greater self-confidence. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. In the first round, I said that in the approach to language must shift from a more formal approach to a more functional approach. By that I mean it's important that the child, the learner, learns to use language, whether it's oral or written language, in many different genres and many different contexts, so that writing and talking is an integrated part of everything they do in school. So I agree that listening is important, but I think in conventional schools, the learners have listened too much. Now we need them to talk more, write more, act more. And listening is, of course, a precondition, but they need to be more active. And technology can absolutely help them doing that. And we need to combine language with creativity. With it could be drama, it could be singing, it can be movie making, it can be podcasting, or whatever. So that the learner learns which language is appropriate in which context. And by doing that, and by talking to people or presenting to people outside the school, they will gain confidence, because they can see that they can actually make their thoughts and feelings understood by other people, and they will get feedback from them, and they will see, okay, I could do a little better next time because I didn't quite get what I was trying to say, or whatever. So contextual use of language, I think, is very crucial to make it more attractive for children to learn language. And I said in the beginning, reading. And by reading, I mean, it can be comic strips, it can be many different things, just things that make it a joyful experience for children to read and get knowledge and see that they can actually understand something they are passionate about better by reading about it. So for me also, language teaching is a part of problem-based learning, where you work on projects and present the projects for people outside the school. So I think you will develop self-confidence by making children present what they learn for their parents, for people outside the schools, for NGOs, for companies, or whoever. I saw it in my school. We had a big PBL expo where the children presented their projects for their parents and for external evaluators, and they grew so much because they knew they had to present it for someone. So their language was, they had trained, and their language was much better than in the daily context. And then just one comment on technology. I think there's another role for technology as well. I totally agree with what has been said. But there will come so many language tools in the future. So many children will say, just like my child says, why do I need to learn language? I can just talk Danish to the computer and then it'll come out in Mandarin or whatever. So why do I need to learn language? And the answer is, you need to know need to know language in order to know what the technology tells you to do. So to actually use technology in school and see what an app can do, where the danger is when you just use Google Translate. So you shouldn't exclude the technology. You should teach about the technology and say the reason why the Danish Google is not so good is that the machine learning is not so good for a small language. For a big language like English or Hindi, it's much better. But they need to combine this knowledge about algorithms with language. So technology is very crucial. For me personally, just one personal remark, I have a very bad eyesight. I can't read anymore. All my reading is done electronically from the electronic reader. I can read newspapers and I can read everything. I can read audiobooks, but I can't read texts. Technology has made it possible for me to continue my reading habit. And in schools, it can also help children who are not so good in reading, who have dyslexia or whatever. So they can actually, even though they have basic difficulties, they can get it through the ears and actually understand the textbooks much better. So technology can do so much in the schools in the future. Thank you.
Amazing, sir. You're absolutely right, sir. And of course, technology is very important. Because of technology, we are here. We are in different cities in India. You are in Denmark, but we are able to connect each other like we are sitting in front of each other. At the very same time, we have seen during pandemic also the children won't want to pick up the books. It is the best thing if they pick up their books and they study books, the story books and anything to study. But now the children of 21st century and even after pandemic, when you talk about India only, so they don't want to pick up the books. They don't want to shuffle the books and read them. They they want that something gadgets should be over with them that they want if they want to learn. So what the understanding is, if the children want to learn up with the latest technology and the gadgets or by the technology, we should go ahead with that, because the only thing we need is that the reading habits, the listening habits. Like you were saying, I have eyesight problem, but I have technology where I can listen to the audiobooks also. So this is very helpful. That is why we are talking about this, that these technology is helping a lot of students. And sir, we also see that children, they are not asking. We used to ask question in the class, but ma'am, I'm not able to understand this. Everybody's laughing, let them laugh. But right now, the children, they are egoistic. They say, if I'll ask this question in the class, everybody will make fun of me. So let me not ask this question. So what happens is the other four who were ready to ask, who were trying to ask, they didn't put their hand up. And here the learning gaps rises. Every child has the same mind. They are very good at the gadgets. Why not they good at the studies? Why? Because this gaps enters in. But with the help of technologies, like we have these type of labs, learning labs, where a child 24/7, anytime they can pick it up and they can understand that what they wanted to ask the teacher inside the class, they can see it over there. They can see it over there and they can recover whatever, the gap they had in the class. When the next year they're coming up to the class, they will be onto the same level with all the children. So all the 30 or 40 students will be at the same level and they'll have a growth. So when we see, in short, we can say when the children have these type of things, that what will the others say when I'll ask a question, they can go up with the technology. Because in technology, when they are putting up their mobile or device in front of them, they are one-to-one. Nobody is there to make fun of them. So that is also very helpful. And we need that in this era, in this 21st century, if the children want to learn through technology, and this is the base and this is the future only, so let them go with that. Our aim is getting fulfilled. We want that they should have the reading habits, listening habits, writing habits, all the SLR habits. Let them get it through this on. That is for sure. Thank you so much, Alan sir. And you have, you have told those basic things which are very important, and these are over there which help the children while their education. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Pooja Malhotra ma'am. Pooja Malhotra ma'am, in precise, we'll also like to know your views on the saying that appropriate language learning strategies result in improved proficiency and greater self-confidence.
Yes, sir, supporting the same as sir statements were there, and you were also saying the same. I would also like to support. Proficiency is nothing else but how how well an individual is being measured, or the capability of an individual. Yes, as we all know that COVID pandemic was there, and that was a great loss. We can say the communication gap, the learning gap, each and everything we have, and right now we are facing as 2 years are gone. And what we are facing in the school right now, the student, the parents, they are pleading for the admission from PC to directly to UKG, and this kind of gaps are there. But they are not able to understand the capability of a child. And because of those factors, or because of those reasons, there is the issues, or there are the issues, or there is a problem in the learning, not only language learning, but learning each and every topic or each and every subject. It has to be taken seriously. It is a matter of concern. The language, as we are the topic today, which we are here dealing with, is we all are discussing about the importance of language. So it is very much important. Proficiency and capability must be there. So for that, we need to guide our students. We need to guide. It is not our duty to guide only the students, but as being a teacher, we need to improve the society also. The people who are near us or who are surrounded with, nearby us, we can guide to each and every person, because as being a teacher, we are having this habit to chase each and every individual. So what we need to inculcate, we need to inculcate the learning skills. We need to tell them the importance that first of all, you need to learn your language properly, you need to be proficient, you need to be capable. Then only you will be able to achieve something. They need to suppose picture whenever sometimes we give them the task of storytelling or story writing, so some clues are being given, examples are given, and many other resources we use, many other TLMs we use to encourage them. Because now the teaching is not only the passive teaching, we need to make our teaching active teaching also. There is lack of vocabulary, why the students fails in writing the answers or they are not able to speak, because they don't know what is to be said to the particular word. So vocabulary has to be emphasized more and more. We need to guide them the correct way or the correct method, that how they need to improve their language and how they need to improve their language skill. So for that, only being a teacher or being an educator is not sufficient, but proper guidance and how we need to guide them properly is very much important, as we are dealing with the coming of generation. Then only we can and it depends on each and every child's the psychology, the each and every child in our class or each and every person, or each and every individual has a different psychology. So we need to deal them as per their own psychology level. It is not possible that suppose in the classroom or in the school 2000 students are there, that they are having the same mentality. No, not at all. So first of all, it has to be diagnosed. It has to be the diagnostic learning or diagnostic teaching. Then only we can do something. Otherwise, we fails. So there we need to keep our 360-degree approach. Then only we can rectify the things. Then only we can modify the learning or modify the language. Or we need to improve their reading skills, listening skills, writing skills, and we need to improve. If each and every skills, if they are listening nicely, so they are able to understand, they are able to write properly, they are able to speak properly, they need to practice more and more. What I mean to say, practice is required.
More
That is
important.
the need and offer. That's all my
Right.
part, sir. Thank you.
That's right. That's right, ma'am. And we'll afterwards we'll ask from Sir Jaswinder sir also about the 360-degree approach how we can have in the language learning. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Sameer sir now. Sameer sir, we want to know that do you believe that language learning enhances multiple skills? If yes, then please discuss few of them.
Yes, sir. I do believe that, and very strongly I believe, because skills are different from knowledge. First of all, there is a difference. Knowledge is something important, imparting information, and skill is all about a kind of practice and the practical aspects. Same as the difference between the study and learning. So, according to me, if we learn language, if we are inclined toward the language, definitely we can enhance so many things. It started from the neuro-linguistic programming to the cognitive memory to the confidence building and skills. After all, there are so many skills. Hard skills are there, soft skills are there. Generally, people briefly say that I'm a soft skill trainer, I'm a hard skill trainer, but soft skill is an umbrella. There are multiple things: empathy, sympathy, friendship are also soft skills. Even the time management is a soft skill, communication is the major soft skill. So by learning language, not only we can develop all those soft skills, but we are stepping into the world of learning different cultures, different type of you know books are there, different information is there. Apart from that, when it comes to neurology, there also the cognitive thinking, the neuro linguistic programming, and all those things are related to the language. So in all, I think by learning language only we can develop language. For example, if a person is not able to learn language or having a dyslexia or anything, so you can see his skill sets, the competency level to fight with the world, so many things. Even I observe this thing in my um, career also. The people who are very good at performance in IIT, JEE or NEET results, they are linguistically very smart. It's not related to board examination only. It's related to beyond the board examination. When it comes to competition, you can take any exam in the world, be it an international level exam like SAT or IELTS or TOEFL, or we are talking about the IIT, JEE, NTSC, Olympiad, NEET, any exams, because I have been in all those fields. So linguistic ability is required to develop another type of things, like it enhance the memory, it enhance the confidence building, it improve the IQ even, it gives up a different type of dimensions. So I strongly recommend that if someone wants to improve any skill in the world, try to start from the language of that particular thing. As Sir was saying about the machine learning. So I really agree. And one more thing, the lecture, the talk of Mr. Jaswinder, quite captivating. I would like to discuss with him about, because I do also believe that this is the difference between a Homo sapiens and the human, as he said. Really, so that is, we are something like a like-minded people. I would like to connect to him after the show even. So this is my takeaway, sir, from this conversation, that
Right.
language is needed for the skill development. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, about your views. Thank you so much. We'll come up to Pooja Bose, ma'am. Pooja Bose, ma'am, you also tell your views that you believe that language learning enhances multiple skills, and please discuss few of them.
Language learning definitely enhances other skills because it becomes the vehicle on which other skills develop. Before I go on to the skills which develop, I'd like to add that learning a new language is actually a revelation into the culture of that region wherein that language is spoken. So if you want to understand people, for example, if you want to understand cultures, if you want to understand the way of life of people, the first step, the right step, is to learn the language of those people. As an example, I can say that whenever a politician from other country, or a diplomat, or an ambassador comes from another country to your own country, he kind of greets you in your language, and there is an instant connection with the audience when he does so, or she does in that manner. So why all these things are necessary is because we need to, language becomes that chariot, or that vehicle, as I mentioned previously. So for that purpose, we need to expose our students, our children, to different languages, and also we should develop in them a fascination to kind of learn new languages, and then thereby learn so many other things. The mental faculty certainly expands when you get to know different cultures and different languages. So, coming back to the skill sets which are influenced, definitely literacy skills, improve. Critical thinking improves with the improvement of language, and your ability to communicate will improve definitely. But with that comes the confidence that you are you have an edge over the others. It's a common knowledge that a person who has very less vocabulary in a particular language will shy away from making and trying to communicate with others. So it is important that language is learned well in order to boost one's confidence. And I'm here not talking about English, because English, as you know, in our society has a certain social prestige attached to it. But to be honest with you, children in today's India can't even speak good English, can't even speak good Hindi. So what is, it is sad that our schools, or when we were studying as students, it was important for us to improve the quality of our language. It was considered, we were given credit if we wrote good language. But if you see today, our examination system, our assessment patterns do not really give any incentive to children who speak well, or who write well, or who speak good language. Yes, words of praise are there, But where is the incentive in terms of marks? Now, you may say that marks are not the end of everything. But if marks are not the end of everything, why so much of talk about marks and so much of talk about, grades and cutoffs and this and that? So I feel that somewhere in language learning in schools, we should have more weightage given to good language, be it Hindi, be it English, be it any other language. The quality, the richness of the language, literature. We don't read literature. We don't even have a single novel prescribed in CBSE curriculum till 12th. What does it show? I mean, these things are worth thinking as educators, that why we are not promoting reading habits in the curriculum. Because I can say for a fact that not everybody has the ability to get exposed to a library. And I, as a student, began my first experience, my first romance with reading happened in school, when we had the novel prescribed in our syllabus, and from there on we took off. So why has it stopped now? So these are some things to think about, deliberate.
That's important. That's right, ma'am. Reading habits. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, I would want to remind you about Nancy Drew. You're in
Yes,
age.
yes. I mean, Nancy Drew, Alice in Wonderland. All said and done, we started with that one novel which was in our syllabus. And then from there on, we took off, right?
Ma'am,
But now, if you give even as holiday homework, so today, if I say that, okay, for your holiday, you read Oliver Twist or Tom Sawyer, for the student, how do we get them? I mean, you have to buy it for them. It becomes something like an extra unnecessary work. So I think we have to normalize, first of all, this
right,
kind
ma'am. You're absolutely right, ma'am, because you had been nice SC student and me too, when we have Merchant of Venice and Macbeth and everything we had. And basically, it is not also very important that it should be in the curriculum or the syllabus. And reading habits, if being inculcated among the students from the very basic, they will love that. They will never get through. But छोड़ेंगे भी नहीं, they will not leave it even. Reading habits, if it is started from the, like sir said in the beginning, Jiswinder sir, that it is that language learning should not be from the graduation or the higher level. It should be from the root. That should be from the very beginning. And that system
I
we
know
have to
that
develop.
the flip side of this is, many will say, who is stopping? There'll be many who will say, who's
Who is
stopping
doing
them?
it? Who is getting it done?
But the fact
This is
of
the
the
main.
matter is that I'm not talking about the prestigious schools. I'm not talking about the schools which are in metros. I am talking about schools which are in the B towns or the remote areas of the country. If you integrate all of this, what we are talking about, into the curriculum, at least it will be a good beginning for the
But ma'am,
child.
Right,
if I may
for
come
sure.
in here, see what they say is the best laptop is the mother's lap. Reading habits should be right before school. Even if the child can't read, the mother should actually have the child in her lap and read whatever she wants to read. The child understands what it is. So, reading, we should not even wait for schooling to happen. And yes, schooling is important. Ma'am, if you remember last time when I discussed, I demonstrated thing, what we've done is because people are not reading, we are asking them to record it and let them listen to it because the person loves to listen to one's own voice.
Voice,
So such
voice.
devices is
Basically,
something we have to
Jaswinder
do.
sir, what we see now, what you are saying is beautiful. That reading should be done by the mother. But now let's assume that the mother is illiterate or the mother is working. Why we cannot forget that we are existing in 2022. So maybe your app or your software is doing a surrogate mother.
Ma'am, I'll tell you one thing. That brings me to something. My daughter's right now in the office with me. When
Huh.
she was a kid, I used to read stories to her. And when she grew up, she said, Papa, you bloody cheated me all my life. I said, why? You
Hmm.
said the same story about Robin Hood. You would change every day the thing that it is. And now I realize that you made a fool out of me. Actually, the biggest problem of a father today is, I'm sure Pawan sir, I don't know Alan sir and Samir sir, if you would, second me on that, when you come back home and your child says, Papa, stories now. And Alan, sir, for you, please read a story to us. And then we just were not able to do that. So what we've done is we're giving this app to all the parents saying, you can't read a story to them. Okay, play a story to them. Because kids should learn to listen. They should know that something can be read out, and this has to come naturally. You cannot sit on the head and do that. So yes, ma'am, surrogate mother, yes, love to be that.
You're right. Pawan sir, I'll come up. Thank you, sir. We'll come up to you again. Pawan sir will come up to you. We like to
Yes.
know your views on the saying that every children is born with different ability and different mental level. This goes on with language learning also.
The same thing, just I want to just identify that every child is unique. We cannot compare two different, like as far as the learning abilities are also concerned, that is, I mean, different with every child. Like for us, it's a challenge for a teacher to teach like a 30 to 40 students they are teaching, that we can, it's not easy for them. Like I can give you example of old Mahabharata time, that Kaurava and Pandava all were the basically disciples of Dronacharya. And out of this, then one question they was asked, that famous one, I think you must remember, that there was a target of a fish, and what do you see? So some were saying, I'm seeing a fish, some were saying, and Arjun said, I see the eye of the target was very clear to him. So it depends upon a child to child. We cannot say that everyone is unique. So as far the learning abilities are also concerned, it differs from one child to another, and it's the role of the teacher is very important, because once we have seen in a class, some teachers come that this child is very weak, this child, because I just feel that nobody is weak. It's basically the grabbing of the attention, because the teacher need to grab the attention of the 30 people or 40 people. So it's not easy for the teacher job basically to just and what happens most of the time, we say just say this child is not good, because maybe we need to go for the basic skills of the learning skill differs from one person, one child to another. And for that to comprehend, to make them understand, the teacher has to modify the strategy and try to touch the every child, and accordingly he can make some different. He just don't, we cannot make a particular idea about everyone that this is not doing good, because there is a uniqueness. If a person is a good in studies, not good in, he may be good in sports. So that type of criteria should not be adopted by us, just that this child is already presume that this is not good. So we have to, as a teacher, as a principal, or as we need to just improve our knowledge skills. And at the same time, we feel that once we are in a interaction with the child, everything something new, because right now the child is in a Google. He searches the questions, and they ask so many things to the teachers, because the teachers know that the child has something homework, extra work. So in language learning also, I feel that it's not the job of the teacher is now difficult, that he cannot the same way he used to teach earlier. Now also he has to make some changes in the methodology in the teaching also, so as to make it more contemporary, so that students can learn and try to improve the skills of the learning. I think so, with the changing time, this the teacher has to be more now do his or her homework more, and try to identify the needs of the child, and as per that he or she can make the lesson more interesting to them.
Right.
And
You're absolutely right, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, sir. What I understood from Payo saying is that it is not only the pre-primary that they should have playway method.
Yeah.
Now the playway method should be there from PG to 12th, all the grades.
Yeah,
Different methods, and you have to
different
make the
methods
learning
and-
very
yes.
interesting. Otherwise, the child will lose interest,
Yeah.
and then we say that this child is below average or he's not very good at studies.
Yeah,
For sure. Thank you
Yes.
so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll come up to Jaswinder sir. Jaswinder sir, please let us know your expert views on the second round. And please let us also know that about your Sanskrit language lab also. And why should we use Wordsworth lab for the English language learning?
I'll start with one important thing where Pawan sir was talking about this. Is, yes, Pawan sir, in a class, you've got different students who've got different learning levels and interests. The best way to do is to have a participative and peer group learning activity.
Yes.
A teacher cannot teach 40 different styles, but 40 kids can teach their colleagues, because today's child is pretty smart. You need to give them a platform, give it to them. Believe me, they'll do good. I don't know if you've heard of Sugata Mitra, Dr. Sugata Mitra. He's a person who, he's actually a TED speaker and a very acclaimed educationist from India. And what he did was, he was in Delhi, Pooja ma'am, And Delhi, he was working with IIT Delhi. On the backside of IIT Delhi, there were slums, and he used to see that these kids are playing with sticks and that. One day what he did, he made a hole in the wall and put up a computer there and left the computer on. After first day, second, they would come and see, next they do this, and slowly they started using it. And not only that, they started teaching each other, and that project he calls hole in the wall. If you Google it out, you'll get to know that. So what actually happens is, if you give them the tools, if you give them a platform, you give them an opportunity, they will learn by themselves, they will teach their peers. And this is what we need to do. We did talk about presentation, Alan sir. That's very important. So how do you do that? Use the flipped classroom. Ask them to acquire some information, get some information, and present it to the class. So they communication skills improve, their presentation skills improve, their confidence improves, and they learn from each other. So if a teacher, yes, a teacher, we are not machines. We cannot teach in 30 different styles, but what we can always do, allow them to teach and learn from each other. So that is something that is going to work up. So I will, rest my point here, Pavan sir, according to this, because a teacher can do only this much. We too are humans. The biggest problem is today's student is a technology resident. We are technology migrants. They will know much more than us, much faster and in a better way. We will never be able to compete them, and we should not even try to compete them, because these are different generations. All we need to do is facilitate, and that will work. I've seen that in mathematics, I've seen that in science, I've seen that in English also. They do that. And when two students talk to each other, it is better than a teacher and a student talking, because they're talking without inhibition, and they are more at ease, and you acquire things better if you are at ease. So I would promote that point onto that. Coming to your second point, Saraprit sir, is about Sanskrit. So let me tell you, before even NEP 2020 was documented properly and put forward into the market, I was asked by some senior people in the government that start working on Sanskrit. Little did I know that it was going to be a part of the NEP 2020, and that's something, and we've already implemented this in 570 Kendra Vidyalayas and more than 450 schools in Haryana. But what I want to talk about is Sanskrit is a beautiful language. See, I'm not talking about any religion or culture. It is the beauty of a language. Why do they say that you should acquire Sanskrit if you want to get into coding? Because Sanskrit uses the zeros and the ones as the base of Sanskrit language. And that is what is the base of technology or coding. So if you are able to acquire Sanskrit properly, you automatically start thinking logically, and that's important. To the very fact that each word, the way the letters are put in, that is also a logical sequence that they do. So Sanskrit is beautiful. That's one, is that it will make you think logically. Second, Sanskrit, the way it is spoken, it uses the whole system of yours. And the pranayams, the way you exhale and inhale, Sanskrit does all that. So it is not only a cultural language, it's a very, very scientific language. It is one of the oldest languages. I wouldn't say the oldest is Tamil, but Sanskrit is, and it is a language devised by the yogis, the people who have done a lot of tapasyas, and they're people who understood that. And it took them years to do that. It was not in a year or so. It took them years. So Sanskrit language is beautiful. I'll give you one more example. It is such an easy language, but we were made to feel that it is difficult because there were not many people promoting that, because it was not the language of business. It was only a language of religion at that time. If I have to give you a simple example, Alan sir, if I have to say that my name is Jaswinder, how would I say that in Sanskrit? It is Mama Nama Jaswindara. But I can also say Jaswinder Mama Nama, Nama Jaswinder Mama. All three make this sense, and that is absolutely correct. So you don't even have to bother where it is going, because it can adjust itself and you don't have to worry how it is taken up. Okay, we have singular and plural in most of the languages. In Sanskrit you have singular, double and plural. Okay, we had a male and a female. Sanskrit always had a neutral gender right from the beginning. Neutral gender came into things later on for the other languages. So it is something which is a well thought language. And believe me, after I started working with my colleagues, the team who developed this Sanskrit lab, this is the first Sanskrit lab in the world, that we realized it is such an interesting thing. And that is where, ma'am and sir, my love for languages came up, that I should acquire more and more language, because the moment you get into a language, you feel the vibration. Like ma'am said, that if you speak somebody's language, you directly connect with them, you connect with the culture, you tell them that I'm comfortable with you. And that is something that the world needs today. More than words, we need words which can be, spoken. If I use your words and if you use my words, this will be a much, much peaceful place. Look at our country. So many languages will still coexist. Now coming on to the question that you asked me, how does the lab that we work on, Words with Lab, support? First of all, it is a teaching, a delivery tool. We use blended teaching. There's something that the teacher uses to deliver. There's something that student uses to practice. So the teacher delivers using the content, creates situation, because Alan sir, what you said is functional language. That's how it should be. And what is functional? Situational, contextual, right? So that's what this software does. It creates a situation and tells them, okay, how would you communicate? Because in language, you have multiple ways of responding. It allows you to do that. Then if you're talking about articulation, how do you have the correct sound being produced, right? How do you move your jaws? How do you move your tongue? I'll tell you one simple thing. With Indians, we have a major problem. If I were to meet somebody in the afternoon, I'll say good afternoon, which is not correct. I have to say good afternoon, because we Indians do not open our mouth wide now, because it is not considered good as per our culture. But if you have to produce the right kind of sound, you have to open your mouth that much. So that is what the software does. It tells you where you're going wrong. It tells you what you need to do. And then slowly it allows you to practice in your own privacy. I was talking to Pooja, I was thinking, what you've done, reading is so important. Alan said that it is so important. If you read, if you can't travel, read. That will make you travel. So reading habits are very important. And for that, what we did is we've created a digital library. You listen to it, you record it, you listen to it, let it be passed. We say record, click and share. Let other people listen to you. You will always like to speak more. That's what we do is, so technology, what we've tried to use, we've tried to use in all aspects, whether it's listening, speaking, reading, writing. Writing, how does it work? We help using assisted writing. First give them this much support, then give them less support, and then ask them to write. How to use mind maps, how to use assisted, structured, scaffolding writing, everything is taken up. So what happens is a normal teacher, because there's a dearth of English teachers in our country, can deliver better. So it is just a tool. It is nothing else. If used properly, it can give wonderful results. So that's what we do when we talk about our language.
That's wonderful, sir. Sir, please let us know that how many subjects,
language
you're working on and how many you're coming up with.
So we've already published English, we've published Sanskrit, we've published Hindi. We are now publishing other languages, like French is coming up very soon. We're coming up with Bengali, we're coming up with Punjabi, we're coming with Tamil, we're coming up with Gujarati, and Marathi. These are the 5 languages we are coming up. By beginning of next year, we should have it, because Indians need to promote our languages and we need to be with them. So, and once we've created the structure and we've created the way, the technology part, rest is only content creation, and that is happening.
So French is almost ready.
French is almost ready. Another 2 months and we'll be up with it.
That's great, sir. All the best to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to the end and last part of the session, which those people who have already attended might be knowing. We have a culture that before parting, every participant has to sing 2 lines. Anything singing in 2 lines, it may be in any regional language or the own language, or in English or in Hindi. And we will start up with Pooja Malhotra ma'am, because she has to go for some urgent work. Pooja ma'am, you have come for the first time, so being a female, ladies first. So the first 2 lines we like to hear from you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity, and I am really happy to be a part of, or among all the ideal leaders, and this opportunity you have provided me. So thanks a lot for this. Singing, so suddenly you asked me for singing.
Any 2 lines, ma'am, any language.
Okay, sir, fine. तेरी है ज़मीं तेरा आसमां, तू बड़ा मेहरबान, तू बख्शिश कर सभी का है तू, सभी तेरे खुदा मेरे, तू बख्शिश कर। तेरी है ज़मीं तेरा आसमां, तू बड़ा मेहरबान, तू बख्शिश कर सभी का है तू, सभी तेरे खुदा मेरे, तू बख्शिश कर। थैंक यू सर।
Pooja ma'am, you will have to complete Pooja ma'am now. Pooja Bose ma'am.
Okay sir, sure.
Is there a ban? Why can't the male sing next?
See, we are gentlemen. Ma'am, actually we are gentlemen. We are not gender biased. We are gentlemen. So we cannot forget that.
Okay. Oh, so only in singing you will allow us to take the lead.
Ma'am, I think you are a Bengali. If something in Bangla, if you will sing something, because Ellen sir is going to sing something in Danish, for sure.
Okay, so I am a bad singer. So if you want to listen to my song, it's at your cost, at your own risk. So, what should I? Can you hear me? Is my sound consistent?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Since we are talking about language, so the only song which comes to my mind is this one. ना बोले तुम ना मैंने कुछ कहा मगर न जाने ऐसा क्यों लगा कि धूप में खिला है चांद दिन में रात हो गई कि प्यार की बिना कहे सुने बात हो गई ला 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 ला। थैंक यू।
मैम आप सरबजीत सर को बता दो, सरबजीत सर मैम बंगाली नहीं है, तो शी इज नाउ अ बंगाली, वो पंजाबी है।
I am an Indian.
Punjabi
I am neither a Bengali nor a Punjabi. I don't identify with
no,
either.
it's about Bengali language singing and all that. Though it would have been a wonderful, Amar, Sonar, Bongla.
Yes,
right,
I
ma'am?
Yeah, that's great.
Pawan
sir.
I have to go actually. Actually, there's some problem with my wife has.
Sir, we also have to go, sir. Everybody has to go. We are in shortage of time, all of us.
Ji, sir. So it's very nice.
Sir, only 2 lines, sir. You are in Punjab right now. If anything in Punjabi would be a better. You know Punjabi, sir, or any language you want to sing, sir, or in your Himachal language also.
Ji. सर अजीब दास्तां है ये, ना कहीं सुनी ना कहीं just I cannot sing, sir.
Anyway, you tried. Sir, did you sing any song for the beautiful lady you're having in your house, your life partner? Have you sung any song for her or not?
No, sir, actually.
That is a big complaint. She might be complaining about this. You never sung any song for her till date. India is a place where you have so many songs in Hindi and Punjabi and all the languages. We are talking about languages. So you should have sung something, sir. We have contestants where both the spouses, they have sung the song together. So, sir, you should get ready for that song also, sir. Next, whenever you are coming, sir, you will have to sing a song.
I will
prepare for that. Thank you so much, sir. Alan, sir, we will end up the session by a beautiful voice, something in Danish.
Yeah,
it's a request.
Det var en lørdag aften, jeg sad og ventede dig. Det var en lørdag aften, jeg sad og ventede dig. Du lovede mig at komme vist, men kom dog ej til mig. Du lovede mig at komme vist, men kom dog ej til mig.
So please, if you can translate
explain
this,
what it was.
Please explain.
You're talking about divine. You are talking about God somewhere. That is what I.
No, I was talking about it Saturday evening. I'm waiting for my loved one, but she doesn't come. She promised to come, but she doesn't come.
Okay, that's great, sir. That's great. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. All of you. Thank you, Ellen, sir. Thank you, Pooja, ma'am.
Why haven't you sung?
Ma'am, I
Yeah.
had been. I am singing. I am singing from last 60 episodes. My that vocabulary, that language has have finished now. I will rehearse and come up with a beautiful song again, ma'am.
And Jaswinder, sir?
Ma'am, I
Jaswinder
can
sir
speak
can
only
sing.
in Gujarati.
So
I'm
who's
married to
stopping
one,
you?
so I'm so much into that.
Please sing. Because rules are for everyone. It is
Ma'am,
uniform.
I am the, I would say the person who's not a principal. He said principals, nope, if you're not a principal, you can't sing. So I'm out of that.
No,
So, okay.
this is not fair. You make us sing and then you
मैं
being the
आपको मैम
language
एक
expert.
गुजराती में सुनाता हूँ. दो हिंदी तो होता है, पंजाबी होता है, इंग्लिश होता है. एक ये there's a Gujarati song. I'll then translate it. It says, નયન ને બંધ રાખીને તમને જ્યારે જોયા છે, તમે છો એના કરતા બી વધારે તમને જોયા છે. What that means, I was born in Gujarat, so I speak better Gujarati than Punjabi. That's how I got my wife. But the whole point is, it says that when I close my eyes, I could see you more than what I have seen you with my open eyes. Right? That's it. That is to understand the inner beauty of a person. You have to close your eyes and search the soul, not only the external beauty. So that's what this song is
Sir
about.
is a Punjabi and he's married to a Gujarati, so
Who
he
speaks
knows
Tamil?
better Gujarati.
No,
Who
no,
speaks
he
Tamil?
speaks Tamil.
Speaks
So she
Tamil.
speaks 6 languages. So
that is so that is why
my
you
source
came
of
into the
inspiration.
language.
Yes, my
Yeah,
source
source
of
of
inspiration.
inspiration.
Yeah.
For sure, sir.
Let me tell you one thing. Behind every person who's a little successful, there has to be a woman, and that is proved in my house, in my place. So hats
Everywhere,
off for
sir.
to her. Yeah. Every house, sir. Every house.
Hats off to all every female, sir. Every lady. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Ellen, sir. Thank you, Pooja ma'am. Thank you, Pooja ma'am. Thank you, Chandra sir. Had
Thank you,
a
sir. Thank you so much.
wonderful time
Thank
with
you
you
so
all.
much.
And I hope, sir, you all enjoyed, and we'll meet in another session some
Yes,
other
sir.
day. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Okay,
Thank you,
sir.
everybody.
Bye-bye, sir.
Good night.
Okay,
Thank you.
sir. Good
Good
night.
night. Good day, sir.
Good day.
Ellen, sir.